Thank you all for joining us for our monthly MOAD open mic. Tonight, as I said, is our first open mic of 2022, and I'm so thrilled that we have poet Lynne Thompson as our feature this evening. My name is Nia McAllister, and I'm the Public Programs Manager at the Museum of the African Diaspora in San Francisco. As we begin, I want to acknowledge the spaces that we're occupying. Though we're gathered virtually, we recognize that non-native people to this land are descendant from settler occupiers or descendants of those forcibly brought to this continent. Moad occupies the unceded land of the Ramaytush Ohlone people, and we pay our respects to the Ohlone people and their elders, both past and present, who've stewarded this land throughout the generations. We encourage all to learn more about the native lands that you occupy by visiting nativeland.ca. We've shared that resource in the chat as well. Thank you again for being here with us tonight. As always, I'm so grateful to find community and healing through art, specifically through this poetry community. Tonight's event is a space for us to recognize the full spectrum of our feelings, whether it's grief, anger, exhaustion, but also seeking comfort and joy together. I want to emphasize that everyone is welcome in this space. We always center respect and continue to amplify Black voices. For those who are new and returning through this space, I'll give a brief overview of the event logistics, and then we'll dive into our evening of poetry. I ask that for those who are not actively reading on the mic to please keep your microphones on mute. However, open mics are a place of interaction, and affirmations are always important. So I highly encourage you to use the chat, use the reactions to shout lines that speak to you, and really support and cheer on all of our wonderful poets that we have sharing this evening. I will be posting the lineup in the chat in just a moment, and I'll introduce each reader when it's their turn to come up. If for some reason a reader isn't in this space yet, but they join later, we'll circle back to them. And all of our readers have about 4 minutes to share. And midway through our open mic readers, we'll have our wonderful feature, Lynne Thompson, sharing. And so with that, I think we're ready to begin. And I would like to invite up Norm Maddox to kick us off. Welcome, Norm.
Happy New Year. Great to be back in this space. I'm gonna jump right in with a couple of pieces. First piece, Ancestral Diatribe. Who said it was simple? Putting your hand on the doorknob, scrolling through the masks you wear so you can return home alive. Revolution is not a spin through your life cycle, a stationary bike going the speed of breathing last breaths. Evolution is change at the mitochondrial layer of consciousness. Unknowing is not enough excuse to sustain status quo. I believe dawn and dusk are instruction manuals. We never read them. We think we know how to live in the light of day and how to be light in the dark of night. Emotions are like unplanned adventures. Mind spends time planning, trying to plot a destination, becoming a map for crossing internal oceans and getting lost anyway. My anecdote is the true story. History never told our story. Research never recorded the voices of our ancestral diatribe. Love is a journey we take to find our authentic selves, a reflection, an echo of the love that resounds at the core of humanity. When I dare to be powerful, I step into vulnerable. I wipe the sweat from my palms and step into the space that needs my being, not my doing. Next piece. Privilege is invisible to those that have it. Privilege is something we each have as a default zone, the path of least resistance, the inertia of status quo. Silo thought, anecdotal logic, justifying uninformed thinking. We are blind to our own privilege. Gotta refocus our perspective through empathy for whomever you want to understand. Blind to your own privilege? Gotta check and see. Last piece, Tumbling Walls. I want my poems to be timeless. Reality reminds me I am barely a glimpse of the expression, especially since now only reaches to the horizons. Pages flame with passion that consume a forest. Fingertips crumble like cigar ash. Typing words that blister my lips and singe my mustache if I speak them into ether. Must read them, must hear them read. The form of the stanza follows the curves of my heart, traces the angles of my bones swinging on hangers, in the closet, on the page. You see the elegance in my caesura. Eyes shift through blank space at the intended meter. Gravity drops after the line break. When my silent pause makes you uncomfortable, I'm waiting for the echo of your last thought to land on all the places that need to listen. While my profile assumes the mirage of calm, I am the only witness to the tremor, shaking my foundations, tumbling the walls and trap doors that keep me safe from myself in the mansion housing my breath. No one imagines the roar of traditional pillars cascading down from attic to basement. The internal reclamation of space, repurpose the parts, redesign the original creation, longing for a place inside my skin I can call home. Peace.
Thank you so much, Norm. That was an absolutely beautiful way to start us off, and it's always such a treat getting to hear your poetry. Thank you.
El gusto es mío.
So our second reader is on the way to joining us right now. So I would like to invite up Eva Johnson up to the mic. Welcome, Eva.
Thank you so much, Nia. I have 2 poems this evening, and I want to thank the BIPOC writing community. And I'm going to, as usual, have a little bit of music before and after the poems. I'm really happy to be here tonight. Carnal needs. Storm the ramparts of this new body. Let my heart beat its syncopated song, alone under dark skies. Sky illumined by heart stars. Let the star storm, showering heart with a new body that joins sky and sea and sun. Let my body open to sky, pale, pale and dark too. Let my heart lose itself in the storm. Let me blow. Let me shower, let me rise, let the storm of me blow open the sky, leaving a cleft for my heart to blossom. Let me be frenzy and blaze, and the infinite open beyond blue. And this second poem is called Carta Vitae. Start with your mouth open and breathe through your skin until the quake rumbles through your center and pins a pinch of essence to the furthest most corner of the Milky Way. Then turn left. Bend down, way down in space, a foot rise rather than a handstand, and find that beautiful green blue marble bauble dangling from the sun's nearest earlobe, which beckons you, come, come enjoy the life that bubbles and rips through cold eons, light years of dust and ever more dust. Join the dance with all we who will become ashes, then sit. Your eye is not the limit, and you can see skyways and rivers, every ocean current a detour on the path to your next beloved. Jump, jump, jump again, pound a hole in the earth, scoop a palm of precious fluid and sprinkle it over your right shoulder, then follow the scent of water. Now you're on the track, bound to encounter more life. Back from galaxy's edge to something that feels more like home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eva. Always a joy, both the music and the poetry. Thank you. Next up to the mic, I would like to invite Melissa Noel. Welcome.
Blessings, Nia. Blessing everyone. It is so good to be back in this space. It is so good to see everybody. I hope everybody is well, and I'm just really honored to be here in this amazing room with some amazing poets and artists. So much love to everybody. The title of this piece is I Remember You, Hip Hop. I remember hip hop. I remember you, hip hop. I remember you at the mouth of the Hudson River, Statue of Liberty riding high, Brooklyn Bridge, Queens, Boogie Down, Bronx, Central Park, Long Island, Bed-Stuy, do or die. Jersey, Philly, Chi-Town, Puerto Rican, Black, Brown, Latino, Spanish flavor. Reggae Island dub beats with Caribbean, Jamaican heat, waking up next door neighbors, playing dominoes by the corner store, rolling dice, rolling paper, lovemaking, rolling like a thunderstorm in the night. Hip hop make it all right. Back when we used to bump Richard Pryor in the amplifier, house parties, block parties, the way good times used to be. I remember you, hip hop, back when all we knew was Royal Crown, before we knew TCB, when Showtop Adidas was sick, or when khakis with Pumas was the shiznit, when it was cool to go outside, like do something like being at the park after dark, hearing brothers doing MC battles like it was nothing. The radio would be blasting at static levels while DeButt and Baby Got Back was that doing a little something, something with the fellas. B-boys and B-girls be like breakdancing, popping, locking, ground rocking, acrobatic foot stomping, tagging, bragging, slapping five with earthquake handshakes make you wanna holla. Back when we believed in the unbelievable, back when rap's longevity was inconceivable, riffs and scants, shouts and rumbles, chorus line rhythms with Barney Rubble, bass beat trebles. I remember you, hip hop, back when phrases like yo son, fly girl, fly guy, word up, yes, yes, y'all, and you don't stop were the cornerstone words to rap and hip hop, back when dreams were not deferred, but vibrant realities, back when we believed that we could be somebody. It echoed throughout every borough, valley, side street, hamlet, village, and city block. It echoed throughout every boombox, Walkman, and CD. Before you knew it, we were putting hip hop on TV, across the Atlantic, over the Pacific, and beyond the Mediterranean Sea. We could be somebody. I could be a positive force in my community and enrich my surroundings with collective work and responsibility. I could be a role model for the millions, the generations, and those who weren't even given a chance. I can be any and everything mama and daddy and them couldn't be. I can be, I can be, I can be, I can be, I could 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 be heard throughout the entire world. Word? I remember you, hip hop. Way before stuff got gangster and MCs got guns. Way before they labeled you public enemy #1. Violent, misogynistic, and ill-natured. Way before they put your name in big letters in the newspaper. I remember you, hip hop. Your roots, they run deep. I hope you continue to bring us together, because you know what? We need you. You like family. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Wow, the rhythm of that piece, absolutely incredible. Thank you, Melissa. Next up, I would like to invite S.K. Williams up to the mic. Welcome back.
Thank you, Nia. I'm really glad to be back, and Happy New Year to everybody. I'm really thrilled to be here with you all because I have not been able to do that over the last several months because I'm a grad student and I had class on Thursday. Now I don't have class on Thursday, so I can be back, and I'm thrilled about that. I am happy to be among such beautiful words, and so I'm going to share a couple of pieces that I've written in the last few months when I did have a smidgen of time. This first piece is called Brutality in Your Eyes. I'm Gary Woman poet. I'm a Garifuna woman from Belize, and a lot of my work uses some of that language. And so I'm not sure if this one has it, but if I do, I will stop and interpret for a second. Brutality in your eyes. The whole world watched as you choked the life out of his eyes. His skin turned ashen, his mouth agog, wailing for his mama, the same way he came into the world. Only the first time he came with love and wailed for her as he exited her womb. That time he knew, even if only as instinct, that his wails would be met with love and he would be rescued from the newborn distress he felt. You took him out of the world without regard of his humanity, and though his wail was instinctive and he knew his mama wasn't there and couldn't hear, he called her anyway, in hope that her almost dead ears would hear his almost dead voice. She would rescue him, allowing him to cross over either way. He must have suffered long enough because she heard his call and saw your vicious face above his, not blinking an eye. And she took his hand and crossed him over onto her side and into her realm of protection. And gentle giant, as he was known, was no more. Crossed over into the realm of his ancestors, where his mama could protect him from the likes of you and your brutal world. But we all watched him die under the weight of your entire body kneeling on his neck, choking the last breath out of him, introducing death, imposing your own sentence and judgment for the whole world to see. That to the likes of you, black men are still not free. So you destroyed him. As to you, he was a worthless life. For what crime, we still do not know. Perhaps for the crime of reminding you of your ancestors' crimes against his. Has your guilt consumed you, will continue to consume and devour you? For the rest of your days, your legacy will be your brutality. With an audience that numbered in the billions, everybody watched you as you choked that man's life out of him, with your hate-filled eyes, not once blinking. Your hate kept you from feeling his life expiring through your fingers, out of his body and out of this world. I wonder if the deafening silence of his still body roars through your mind daily as you sit with the bars of your condemnation surrounding you. Or perhaps you will carry on like your ancestors before you carried on without even a backward glance at the many lives that had viciously extinguished on their road to conquest of the world. And there to justify their brutality. Perhaps you sit in your self-satisfaction with those who come before you, calloused, satisfied with your brutality. But only you will know where your heart lies in the aftermath of the destruction of a human life. That's the first one. My second piece is called I Am a Dusky Daughter of Latin America. I'm a dusky daughter of Latin America, by way of Africa. Until now, not certain which of the 54 nations can claim me. I'm the descendant of Africans, taken, kidnapped, Barua. Barua means kidnapped in my language. I'm a Garifuna woman, a descendant of warriors with blood of rebellion in my veins. I'm not a mestiza or a Creole, not in the strict sense of those words. Those words imply mixture and makes me believe that one has conquered the other, which for me means that our captors have won. Because they forced us together, like they forced themselves on us and into us, and created a whole new race by force. No, I am individually African and individually indigenous, Arawak, Carib, from the Eastern Caribbean, Antilles, South America, Brazil. It's as far as I know. As for the African, they were warriors, and they fought long and hard like hell, because they knew in their bones and in their blood and in their hearts that they were subjects of no one, least of all those of the pale skin from the north. So they rebelled and survived, allowing me to be free and to say to this day proudly that I am the descendant of Africans who fought like hell for their freedom and survival and for mine. And so I can hold up my head and proudly bear witness, standing on their shoulders, to their resilience and grit, to keep on their road of self-determination that produced the me that is me, fierce and black and proud. So I say it over and over again and aloud. I am a proud and dusky daughter of Latin America, descendant of the African and the indigenous who fought like hell to be free, who upon that shore of Yurume, when those ships ran aground, shook off those manacles like a bad dream, escaping their captors, making me free, the way I was supposed to be. That keeps me on my road to redemption. Thank you.
Thank you so much, SK. It's always wonderful hearing your storytelling and your words. Thank you for sharing. Next up, I would like to invite Andrea Jacobo. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here this evening. Like SK, I also had Thursday nights classes, and so I couldn't be here, so I'm really happy to be back. I have two pieces to share. The first one, it's like it's the first poem of like this series that I want to do in ode of where I grew up. En la casa de Hialeah, you can find los dijes de mi infancia. Across at the park, where I discovered the ways my body could move, swimming swiftly without needing instruction, signed up for my basketball myself. Later did I know that these noodles awarded me the name of La Gordita, were made for running, to hoop from and for la casa, away from lo ausente, body weaving dreams with words I would later need. What if I pledge allegiance to mi libertad en mano, searching the skies and stars as if they were coordinates where my heart stands? Looking on the other side of the moon, in the shadows, I see a tiny light, a dot in the universe, magnet. You are our only strength. How can the heavens believe in me? The one that forgets shit and reads books half full, the one that loves and carried the memoirs left on a shelf in notebooks dried with tears from the words you planted in my psyche, waiting for a garden of weeds to strangle the girasoles that once bloomed for 30 years of joy. Love is where you're rooted. Love is where you prune the harvest of thorns, centrifuge them into dust particles, making the riches of compost. Because what I learned from the day I blocked the ones who hurt me is that love is self-generative, self-love is generative, and I'm here to bloom. Ojalá que llueva. I hope it rains. Thank you. That's my first piece. Thank you. This one is, I wrote yesterday, and there's a lot of mourning that happens when you're moving. And I'm moving from the Bay, and I feel a lot of sadness doing that. This is called The Rays. The rays of sunshine enter the room to say hello from the past, reminding you the light years you once traveled, like how you've grown into your smile. Did you ever wonder you would stay here a while, to enjoy dreams once dreamt, manifested, the fog-clouded judgment, smoking grooves, temporary hills, painted in the pinkest of hues, and the blues you feel in your bones? You choose the road less traveled, letting go of gifts on the road, on the side of the road, so someone else can pick up and fall in love, and you can heal. Mi niña, facing west, carrying the southern rays on your back, yearning for wells to be filled. You know, tears can nourish the seed too. Go tend your garden. Thank you.
Beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you, Andrea, for sharing both of those pieces. And I'm excited to see more of your poems in the future as well. Thank you. Next up to the mic, I would like to invite James Cagney. Welcome, James.
Thank you. Thank you, Nia. Blessings and love to you and everybody in this room. The first two poems, here we go. About the alderman's abusive attitude in Alabama. Because barbiturates were banned by a brazen cutthroat committee composed of controversial diplomats dedicated to deconstructing democracy, we've had to execute every embarrassed engineer found fornicating in fields of forsythia. Given the governor's generous gift of gab and his habit of inhaling horse and hobnobbing with horny heads of state, he instituted injecting inmates with isotopes of ink. But he's just jaw-jacking and jiving. The Justice Department knows he has a knack for bad karma. Just keep knocking, keep on keeping on. Look at the laws laid down late last night by these losers lacking morals, yet made to mock and mimic the moral majority. Neurotic nitwits nervous about the news on nepotism. Observe how only under oath do they obey orders, patiently paraphrasing past penalties, quietly questioning the quality of our quarterly quests. Resisting our rage, they rarely raise reasonable responses. Somehow sponsoring suicide selfies and selling sneakers to stalkers, taking test and turn-up technicians on trips to Tucson, under unregulated unions that don't understand the various vocations of villagers, all victims caught on video being violated, without warning, without warrants, while you watch excommunicated movie extras as they Xerox xenial youngsters yodeling yesternight across the yard in a zoo not zoned for zigzagging zombies. And if you are a teacher, I submit this as my term paper in science on alligators. This poem is a cento, and it's composed of about 14 different articles that I've collected over the last 5 to 7 years, I think, assembling this, on alligators and crocodiles. And this version I finally settled on I like. So this piece is called Alligatoroid, okay? The black caiman is an alligatoroid crocodilian, apex predator and largest of all alligator species. In embryo, its mouth develops before its body, with jaws that will generate up to 3,700 pounds per square inch of bite force. These armored reptiles have been around 235 million years. Triassic aerosaurs were called armadillodiles, as early reptilian ancestors resembled mammoth armadillos. To look at a saltwater crocodile today is to gaze through a kaleidoscope of centuries back to when evolution dropped its first mic. With its crunchy asphalt skin, God's denoted Leviathan in Psalms 104 bears the hungers of every villain and will walk away if any attempts are made to baptize it. It squirted and went into the muck, said the lead pastor from a Florida church who approached a visiting gator and offered his business card. He added, "I don't know what his spiritual condition is." Nature isn't cruel enough to put wings on a crocodile. Although Archaeopteryx was a feathered dinosaur that could fly, it's now hard to say where dinosaurs end and birds begin. As an archosaur, the crocodile remains generationally stuck behind its cousin, the starling. Alligators, crocodiles, and long-snouted gharials are all semi-aquatic carnivores that hunt by ambush. These serpents have been tested for compassion, sympathy, mercy. Having none, they slay men and eat them weeping. Do crocodiles? No, such is the nature of God's Cadillac reptile that baits a man within his danger by crooning a bluesy sob. Do crocodiles actually cry? Alligator tears are aggressive lies and fabrication, bait on a trap of razors. Scientists used to wonder if tears lubricated meat made dry by the victim's overconfidence or delusion. Note, when these river dragons eat, they move their overjaw, not their nether jaw, and they have no tongue. This professor in the evolution of the jaw can be found silently sucking a musky tortoise like a savory jawbreaker. By day, they linger in flexible caves beneath stalactites of mud. At night, they dwell in the water, lurking, for example, in the ponds of Cypress Ridge in Bluffton, South Carolina, where a bask of crocodiles lays on the sun-baked shores of a lagoon, hibernating near an old rusted drainage pipe near the Chesapeake Bay. Saltwater crocodiles, sweet potato skin gators, eat no meat all winter and lie about enchanted, self-hypnotized through breath. A caiman was once photographed wearing a crown of Hawaiian-shirted butterflies. Soft tourists lined up along its snout for shots of hibiscus tears. Teeth patient as flowers. Twin chips of their aluminum green eyes. Caution lights floating unnoticed just above the catfish surface. Thank you guys very, very much.
Wow. Thank you, James. You've just blown us away as always. Such a gift to have you in this space. Thank you. It is now the time of the evening where I'm going to share a couple of poems and then introduce our wonderful feature for this evening. So I'm going to share two, one new and one old. The first is entitled Window Seat to the Final Act. It is 73 degrees and Oakland is blowing to the northwest. The body sits in a white chair, still, and my gaze fixes back. A 21-piece skyline is wrapped in tomorrow's fog. At this angle, the city sheds its forgivable debts, its regrettable landlords, and becomes a less greedy member of this changing landscape. A less greedy landlord changes the landscape. At this angle, the city sheds itself. Gates peek over the white caps of the sky, golden. The docks twinkle, coins fall where they must. My eyes close to the world. I'm going nowhere and everywhere. And the second piece is entitled, In the Day, Diamonds Are in the Water. The only time the ocean cut me, I bled stories. They said, what a beautiful yet terrifying thing it is to be free. They said, we have traveled years to bring you our names. We knew you'd forget them, or worse, never recognize them in the first place. They said, rememory me, unfold your tongue, gather in your hand all the cities your foremothers birthed freedom in, scatter milkweed seeds in the wind and call us home. Waterlogged and weary, I bandage my wounds with diamonds and rise from seafoam memory, homebound. I have never been far from the page. How else to learn what moonlight looks like through blue-eyed promises? Oh, but to be Sonia, to be Tony, to be wind in a cotton field scattering marigolds. I wish I knew Arkansas clouds like I do the lines on a poem, like I do the recipe for forgiveness. Joy is memory in the refrain, magic too hopeful to stay hidden. See, the trick to befriending stories is listening after all. Yet sometimes belonging cannot be traced by tide lines or railroads carved out of the night sky, but rather dog-eared pages and overdue book finds. See, having a library to owe things to makes one at home, right? So we write, we sing, we rename our story legacy before they claim we were never here in the first place. Find us on the page. As she said, this is the first battlefield we play on. Here our words dance, and so we too leap into blissful surrender. And one day we will fly, and one day we will fly. Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce our featured poet. In February 2021, Lynne Thompson was appointed Poet Laureate for the city of Los Angeles. She is the author of Start with a Small Guitar and Beg No Pardon, winner of the Perugia Book Award and the Great Lakes Colleges Association's New Writers Award, and Fretwork, winner of the Marsh Hawk Poetry Prize in 2018. A Pushcart Prize nominee and widely published, Thompson's work can be found in Pleiades, Ploughshares, Black Warrior Review, and 2020 Best American Poetry. Thompson sits on the boards of Cave Canem and the Los Angeles Review of Books and chairs the Board of Trustees at her alma mater, Scripps College. And myself, as a Pomona College alum, it is so wonderful to share space with a fellow from our sister school. Welcome, Lynn.
Thank you so much, Nia. I didn't realize you had gone to Pomona. That's fantastic. I love that. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's wonderful to hear all these voices. Some of you are new to me, so this is a real treat. I'm honored to be here. I went on the museum's website and saw that your themes are origin, movement, adaptation, and transformation. So I've tried to sculpt this reading around those ideas. So I will start with this one. All you need to know is that the Malagasy are the indigenous people of Madagascar, which is an island off the east coast of Africa, where I can trace at least part of my roots. I ask the Malagasy, where are my ancestors buried? In the feathers of a yellow bird. How do you remember me? As 7 wishes. Where will I find the shape changer's magic? In fields of hydrangea. Who teaches your tantara? A fox behind closed doors. Where are your elephant birds? In ruby and absinthe afternoons. And where is the sawfish beak? In the dayshine of trees. How deep is your river Betsaboka? 12 earthquakes deep. What time did your soil turn red? When calves bent their knees. The other part of my heritage I share with SK, and I'm gonna read this because clearly she's my Aunt Tilly's sister. My parents were born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and this poem was really written for them. How I learned where we come from. When she wants him for the late meal, she calls, "Supper soon, Kingstown man, curried goat, sticky wicket." And he responds, testy, "Not yet ready, Beckway woman, Anglican church, basket with no handles." We children, we laugh, head for the hills and the tall, sweet grasses, listen for the lilt of frangipani tanty. She called, "Come in now, pigeon peas, mangoes, poor man's orchids." Then we run for true, and supper is all cassava root, callaloo, very little sugar cane, and we're in it all at once. Choir song above Mount Pleasant, Port Elizabeth, harp of Paget Farm, till father, he say no, defends his slipped-on wishes for Soufrere, Sans-Souci, Wallaloo Bay, and so on into the evening, calypso and steel drums, a little Rasta and Bob Marley for us young'uns, till finally we are no longer black ironwood, wood that will not float. And this is an effort to combine both my birth side and my adopted side. My family from the West Indies are my adopted parents. A seed of mango, a seed of maize. I saw one of the grandmothers only once in a photograph. Short and sturdy she was, a black Carib with a forehead wide as the sea that kisses Port Elizabeth and a nose broad as the nostrum of Admiralty Bay. Breathing deeply, her breath was fume of coconut and allspice, mango and frangipani, blackbird and blue sky, was the Isle of Beckway. She conjured a daughter, then jinxed another, and they bedeviled 5 daughters between them. And I am one of those, flying fish. The other grandmother I composed from myth and half-told stories. She was a red Cheyenne, scorched earth, much chaste, sported a thick reed of braid pulled off from her forehead, wide as Dakota before it was north and south. She hisses warnings across 10, then 10 times 10 more years to a son who reshapes them for me in my dreams, sometimes in my waking. As flute, blue maize, dance of the sun, she comes, crow on the wing, singing up the ghosts. And I am one of those, a ghost, singing. To blackness. As it happens, I have never tired of blackness. It's Marcus Garvey, Raisin in the Sun, Tuskegee Airmen. It's Strivers Row and Liver Lips. It's Dred Scott, Freedman's Bureau, Scott Joplin. Some say black is swarthy, gloomy, evil, fiendish, but we all spring from the tribes, Ashanti, Bobo, Fulani, Wolof, their cowrie shells and crobo beads sewn into our fading fabric. I don't know much about my native blackness. My daddy, he say Igbo, the only word he can give me, but it's the only word I need to get the old folks to remembering that in Igbo, ututu is morning, abali is night, and in any mirror, my ihu, my face, is always black. This next poem, all you really need to know about it is that the second and third sections are in the voice of my dad. Genesis 1. On 27 March 1899, Dora rose from her pallet, came to squat, and my father flopped out like a fish. 1 month later, American Negroes fasted in protest of the lynch laws. But Daddy, born to got nothing in a British colony, took off nonetheless, and despite everything, all gurgle and shit, a wheel turning, his eyes fixed, history nascent. 2. I left that floating hotel, the Van Dyke, to arrive via Barbados on the Isle of Tears, June 1923, and I didn't care what. We'd heard the news back home about a Black man, Sam Hose, lynched for killing his Georgia white employer. Hose was burned alive, knuckles put up for sale, and that'll teach him at the local grocers, but I came anyway. The journey of not knowing isn't bitter or a sweet seed, just chance. I came for 4 years to earn money teaching grammar and numerals the way I taught grammar and numerals to youngsters back home, knowing few Black boys in the States were allowed to attend school, not knowing if any school would hire me. The twins, color and cry, steal each other's breath, yet they grow under heaven. I came despite the rebellions, the Robert Charles riots 1900, 28 dead, the Wilmington insurrection, no official death count, Springfield 1908, Houston 1917, District of Columbia 1919, and all the unnamed revolutions every year since and in between. Time's a magician, sleight of hand and a white mask, Black fingers unbound. 3. When I said, I will come back, Dora shook her head and sobbed. I came anyway. So this next one, anybody who knows me knows how frustrated I was with the movie that was called The Green Book, because it was not a movie about the Green Book, which really pissed me off. Waste of Mahershala Ali as far as I was concerned. But in any case, I wrote this poem because my dad had to drive to California without the Green Book. And the second section of this poem is literally the language from the Green Book, or some of the language. In 1930, Daddy drove to California without benefit of the Negro Traveler's Green Book. 1. Daddy left Chicago with Mr. Rodriguez instead of his wife, planning to travel Route 66, having little to less money and eager to see the Pacific. When he wanted to sleep, it would have helped if he'd known Mrs. Mosby's tourist home, 1614 Jackson, Springfield, welcomed weary Negroes. If he needed gas in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Swindoll's would have been the station for his kind. For a bite to eat in Amarillo, he would have been given a tip. Try Tom's Place, New Harlem, or Blue Bonnet, and so on across the country. He had no guide, had only the risk of a rope in Oklahoma City or Santa Fe, New Mexico. Because they were driving to California, the Golden State, maybe they didn't know many towns within its borders were sundowners, and there ain't no niggers allowed was the policy. They were headed to the City of Angels, but in others, Burbank, Compton, Culver City, Dutch Flat, Gold Run, Downey, Folsom, Linwood, Inglewood, Orange, Palmdale, and the San Fernando Valley, they could not eat or sleep. Yet to make the news, Siskiyou County's last lynching, 1935. 2. With the introduction of this travel guide in 1936, it has been our idea to give the Negro traveler information that will keep him from running into difficulties and embarrassments, and to make his trip more enjoyable. There will be a day, despite the introduction of this travel guide, sometime in the near future when it will not have to be published. That is when there will be an end to days of difficulties and embarrassments, when we as a race will have equal opportunities in these United States. We trust sometime in the near future, there'll be the great day when we'll be able to suspend publication, for then we'll be able to go wherever we please, when we as a race will have equal opportunities and no embarrassments. But until that day comes, We shall continue to distribute this information, this travel guide Mr. Green introduced in 1936, critical directions that kept Negroes from running. 3, it was 1966 before the Green Book printed its last. It really blew my mind that I was alive when the Green Book was still being printed. In 1968, my parents were still Negroes. Even when Lyndon Baines signed the Civil Rights Act, my parents were still Negroes who would never mourn for Malcolm X the way they would mourn for Dr. King. They were still Negroes because despite My Lai, their son was career military. Despite the Prague Spring, they still watched Wagon Train and could ID every has-been on What's My Line. In 1968, a minor pop star, Frankie Lyman, overdosed, heroin. But my parents were still Negroes in love with Nat King Cole and NBC. While nerve gas leaked near Skull Valley, did my folks know people freed themselves in Mauritius? In Phong Nhat, there was a massacre, but Rowan and Martin kept on laughing. I graduated high school the year Sirhan killed Bobby, but my parents were still Negroes when I left for college, knowing 3 students were killed in an all-white bowling alley, South Carolina. But A Space Odyssey premiered. Hair debuted on Broadway, and my parents, Orthodox Negroes, didn't get the Beatles or why students were rioting in Paris. They were cheered by a Manchester team winning the European Cup, but remained mute when Pope Paul VI condemned a little white pill. My parents were still Negroes that August, but watched Chicago's convention in horror. Jerry Rubin, The Guard, the Democrats, and Daley, all the world reading his lips. You Jew sons of bitches, motherfuckers, go home. Still, my parents were Negroes because they were no longer niggers, because my daddy drove a long black Cadillac and we lived on a cedar-lined street right next to a white man from Georgia. White South Africans excluded the Marylebone Cricket Club just as women protested Miss America. When the Irish troubles got worse and the 19th Olympiad cold-cocked Mexico City, my parents didn't feel less Negro because John Carlos, head bowed, raised his fist. But I did. The Rodney riots rocked Jamaica. The Queen of Soul won respect. At Yale, women enrolled and Miss Chisholm got the votes. In 1968, my parents were still Negroes. They never would be again. So I'm just going to read a few more. I'm looking at my time here. I think I have a little bit of time, so I'm going to read some newer pieces. This one, I was lucky enough to go to a literary seminar in Kenya led by Cornelius Eady, co-founder of Cave Canem. So I wrote this for him about a beautiful night that we all spent on the island of Lamu. Hip of an archipelago, Diamond Beach. We sail the dhow close to shore, the waves slapping gently. 1,000 dragonflies hovered above, raining wings on the bow. Above them, planets in their orbs sailed, then fell still. Sheila Beach. Maddie said she'd seen a camel somewhere beyond the dunes. Beyond the dunes, somewhere, I drank Campari and soda beside the blue of the incomparable Indian Ocean. Matandani. The children roast cashews in an oval pit. When they see us, the children cry, Jumbo, Jumbo. Jumbo, cries a sooty gull. Jumbo, yawns the mat maker's cat. And this one of my favorite songs is Dance Me to the End of Love by Leonard Cohen. The poem has an epigraph from that song. Dance me very tenderly and dance me very long. Song for Africa, Leonard Cohen never knew he started. long as the river Mananara, long as the miles between the Malagasy and the bondsmen of Kentucky, long as memory, long as the concussions of kidnap, long as every equation plotting the distance between Earth and its backlash, between sun and the bursting of hyacinth, daffodil, mustard seed, seed most fruitless, carried across the sea, perhaps from Benin, once misprized as French Dahomey, and before that, when the land was confused with the dynasty of the Edo. Its people, most majestic, most black and black and black, and the people are movement. See how they excite here and here. Secrets in our gardens, stunning among the periwinkle, creeping myrtle, Confederate jasmine, floridora in spring and in summer when they are most stephanatus floribunda, curling over and around and under. And did you ever see such movement? Long as the river Mananara, long as the miles between us and the Malagasy. Oh, boogaraboo, dance me oh so tenderly, and dance me very long. And I'll just read two more. Rest in peace, George Floyd. Sonnet for an America that can strangle us. Because there are no contingencies when it's twilight and it's you, and every contingency has its flag wavers, and every night is the night before the flames and the screaming and the madmen who always want more. Last night, I took precautions, but it was you, and I trusted and never suspected, and I let you touch me everywhere you wanted until your night executed its old stranglehold. No star or stripe in sight. What Bill of Rights have the dark suits ever given Black bodies? Were it otherwise, you would have lifted your knee off of our necks. But the flag wavers have traded sunlight to the Klan, to the blue wall in your true North. And we and they will set ourselves on fire because of it. And yet, I'm sure they'll give us another poultice of, don't worry about the ways you will be killed, because it's you and this is us. And I'll close with this one. I wanted to read this because I know that this museum is in the Bay Area, and I wanted to give a little shout out to one of my favorite Bay Area people, the amazing Steph Curry, who I adore, Lakers notwithstanding. So this is called Shumpert's Hair Takes on the Warriors 2016. I am a fan of the game, truly. The small ball in the almost as small basket, the arc like Barthay's carving boy with a broom, of the bouncer through the white threads, beads of sweat on the game's best or even the least of those, bench players, the just in cases, and the always a sixth men, all off the charts, blood rush plus blood rush. But when this man, this Schumpert, bearing a family crest, coat of arms, surname exhumed from Saxony or Bohemia, variously called Schumann or Schumacher, the immigrant who came to Germantown, PA, 1685 with his wife, Sarah, this player on a team the West Coast just can't abide, comes on the ball court, nappy hair a square askew to the left, wrapped up in a band or golden braided, straight shaded, dreaded Pomeranian afro, flat top, Chinese Wu-Dang, death knot, knot of slain warriors, yet to be bald because has he ever sported a ponytail? Or even as Varajao, hair in check to, can this stop the kink? Curly, curly, flops like a diver whose double back dribbles off. I have a momentary hurly-burly, at least until a baby-faced assassin shushes the masses, but no swish, no splash, just, Riley, do you like me now? Thank you. Thank you so much.
much. That was absolutely incredible. All of those poems. It's such a joy to hear your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to share your website in the chat for everyone to check out, but I always like to give our features a moment to share any upcoming events or things that you want to shout out for yourself, that ways people can continue to support your work.
Upcoming events, I didn't even think about that. As you know, like all of our readings, they are certainly in over Zoom and not in person, but I think I'm going to be doing an in-person one at the end of February, so I'm excited about that. But this gives me a good reminder that I need to update my website, and I'll certainly post events there. And I am on social media, on Twitter and Facebook, and I try to post my events there. But the thing that most of you can listen to weekly is my podcast, Poems on Air. It's on Spotify and on the Apple Podcasts, as well as the LA Public Library website. So you can certainly follow me there as well.
Great. We'll find the link and we'll put it in the chat. Thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank
This
you.
has been a joy.
It's wonderful to be here.
With that, I'm excited to introduce the second half of our open mic readers and invite up Dante Clark to kick us off. Welcome, Dante.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, okay. We can hear you.
Surely. Wow, I appreciate everybody who shared earlier. I'm gonna share 4 short poems real quick. Lions and lambs gather around the porch light near the praying man to hear his banana clip theory and hopes to keep the devil off before being buried in gold and joining the Vanilla Sky Club. If pain was a person, it'd be from the projects of my birthplace, where fed babies walk headstrong with secret scars under black feet, where demons with cold shoulders and no chill hold switches and drakes for days and nights, with no prayers, no features, no dealings with real love over thoughts for hurting more than yesterday, whose image is nonchalant with a pistol by the bed under the influence of 28 bars, knowing word for word of a 7-Eleven in a brain-dead jungle. And when truth be told, and federal pressure cleared the air, this reckless mind frame will be blind and relentless again. Being born Black, bearing blues by brothers buried beneath bridges, burned bodies belittled before becoming better, beyond broken, but believing, because brotherhood build beautiful bonds, bypassing bullies, brute, Billy Bats, beating blacks back, bone breaking, burdened by balancing books, bullets, bricks, barren blocks blown by bombs, billowing blues, Billy Blue before, back bust, boy, cotton brung benefits be barely breathing, between blitz, brought by Babylonians, Baphomets, biopics be blackberries bent below bulky branches, bruh, life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. Born pissed without a pot to piss in. Raised down a poverty street over and make you opposition. Losing common sense to bottomless pockets. Picking and picket fences probably won't profit. Poor people will it. Nah, not in America. Chocolate children smiling cavities. Duck, duck, goose chasing underground railroads to safe havens or heaven where white men's dreams fall from a 4th of July sky, all while we still catching hell. Hell, a freeway exit away. Flow straight, blow through the light, break 2 lefts and to the right, you'll be there, hell. You'll see hella people, hella high, hoping like hell to spread wings above telephone wires and shoestrings, past shoeless Jimmy them, puffy eye leaning back towards the time worth dreaming about. Hell, a hell of a winter these past 60 years been. Still ain't figured if where I'm at is hella hot or cold as hell. Hell, all I know is these bullets burn. And there's some cold young brothers shooting them when life sings me sweet songs. I would love to dance, but I'm afraid of my feet. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, absolutely, absolutely incredible. Always, always wonderful to hear your work, Dante. Thank you. Next up, I would like to invite Carla Brundich up to the mic. Welcome, Carla.
Thank you, Nia. What an amazing reading. Wow. Okay. Looking for my poem. I was sorry. I was all wrapped up in that. Okay. Loving things I want to kill. The things we think of killing but cannot. Children, lovers, our lovers, other lovers. And for me, a particular tree. I want to kill you, but I cannot, because I love how you grow and how I've grown to love you. You hide my yard from the neighbors and give me shade, but you punish me with plums yearly, staining my pavement, ruining all my gardens and potted plants. Today, I almost killed you, but could not. You want to kill it? The tree pruner asked. Yes, I said. I mean, no. I can murder this morning glory I planted under my gate. She is in full bloom now. Creepers crisis crossing my patio. Stained forest green leaves shaped like baby hands. The faces of the blossom searching for sun. She is not so innocent to me. Her tentacles run deep, creating chaos in the bowels of the basement, destroying the intricate workings within. Strong. She is strong, rope-like, and creeps around where she is not wanted, stunning most to silence with her beauty. This one is for the caregivers. I wrote it for my father, who passed away at the beginning of this pandemic we're in, but I feel like it's worth a read tonight. So to my dad. It's called Over Pahoy Hoy, and there's some Hawaiian words in it, but I think it'll come clear. Our girl's back, trees whisper, as they watch her toting suitcase over Pahoy Hoy lava driveway. Father, once a pillar, now faces ashes of former life, a daughter returning. Stormy as Hi'iaka, he fiery like Pele, they fire and water don't mix. But this time, he is weak, simmering, she raging, hurricane of healing. She bangs the cabinets clean with Clorox, brushes out bugs, rodents, cane spiders, sweeps the soot from the chimney. She brings her woman's touch to vast fields of nowhere, where he lives. Our daughter is back, now a woman. Her touch is rough, not gentle, her voice commanding respect. She towers over him, threatening him into submission. Father, she says, you are the child now. Take your medication, like I said. Stop living like this. Take care of yourself. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carla, for that tribute to your father and for sharing both of those pieces. Appreciate it. Next up, I would like to invite the poetivist. Welcome up to the mic.
All right, thank you very much. And I am live from Ghana, and it's 3:14 p.m. It's 3:14 a.m. GMT in Ghana. And I'm very glad to be on this platform, and I feel honored and humble. So I am sharing 3 poems. They are very short. Yeah. And it's an extension of each other. So the first poem is Untitled Country. The naked street holds the children of the Lord hostage. They ask where he stands in this unwanted chaos. But silence seems to find itself upon God, leaving strange voices of comers to lay in state. I hear thanks lament of heaven selling water to a drowning man at the outskirts of his hope. And the Lord knows the village has crumbled into sorrow. But the unspoken truth is, we have come to live in a wretched country. The government is no friend today, and if tomorrow, it doesn't matter. We are only here to be used and be thrown away. Truth is, hold not your eyes ajar at the city, for everyone is wearing something empty. At least your mother will have a look at you, and certainly, you will never finish listening to your shame. The last poem is titled, Selma, My Alabama. Selma, my Alabama. Just in case you don't see me later, this is my honest letter enclosed with a kiss. Your glowing smile has taken up residence in my mind. I waste time stargazing as your memories go by, but you live endlessly in your said goodbye. For lack of descriptive lines, let's simply say I am obsessed with being you and us. I know we said our love is age and closer, that perhaps we would feel us new, clever from a distance. But if I am being honest, I miss a familiar voice that was my personal hug. I miss the beauty of your heart. If I am being honest, you live on the pains and tears on my chest. And Selma, my Alabama. Ever since you left, I have been drenched by loneliness. When I talk about you to myself, sad happiness fearlessly trend on my emotions. I dance nakedly before your memory, our memory. I do not know what it means. Perhaps I am losing my mind that I wasn't for you. Ever since you left, life's busy not making sense, and it feels you put a spell on me. But Selma, my Alabama. Sometimes I try to forgive myself for being scared to fall deeper into you. I try to heal for you to see me like you don't remember and love me the way you loved us. But just in case I don't see you later, this is my honest letter enclosed with a kiss. Maybe I will learn to live without you for a while and be a ring away. You are my Selma, my Alabama, my city. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. And first of all, thank you for staying up late and joining us in this space. What a commitment. And your poetry was absolutely beautiful as well. Thank you so much. Next up to the mic, I would like to invite Sylvia Blaylock. Welcome, Sylvia. Sylvia, are you with us here? Maybe we'll circle back to her. All right, well, I would like to invite Tarita up to the mic, and we'll circle back to Sylvia and see if she can get her audio working. Welcome, Tarita.
Hi, how are you? Wow, that it has been so rich. This has been a feast of words. My God. Wow. Wow. Because I'm in a certain mood, I'm just going to read. I read, some of you may have heard this, but I read it last week, and I'm just going through what we are all going through, actually. Okay. I call this Play It Cool and Dig All Jive, you know, like the refrain of Langston Hughes. So here it is. Yeah, play it cool and dig all jive of class and race and what feds say, like church and state. have two separate gates, though US presidents swear in on Bible that states, you're born broken, babe. Say you're in the world, but not of it. Play it cool and dig all jive. Beg forgiveness for lives barely living. Accept cost to live, contempt for existing. Catch bones from sins of Eve and Cain. Good little doggies bury sheeple, don't complain. Illusion of inclusion sustains subtle bruising. Totalitarian trust secures delusions. Justice and justice judge schemes. Degenerates telomeres, nerves, genes. Alternative facts designs. First rule of war, confuse the mind. You know, play it cool and dig all jive. Watch American hegemony fail. Humanity grow frail. Upon nature's laws, prefer dog's maw. Schizophrenic bipolar tyrannies interrupt left-right brain responsibility. Bank multi-trillion-dollar drug industries entertain affliction, fear, addiction. Police, priest, partner with dis-ease. Promise the rapture will offer eternal peace. In the afterlife, that's when you die, huh? Join knees heroically, play it cool, dig all jive. Ignored strange fruit on poplar trees, smell more funerals than weddings, child sex trafficking, pornography, disappearances, houselessness, endless wars, organ and attention harvesting, genocide, suicide, GMOs, gain of function, viruses, AI jabs with lipid nanos, mRNA, plastics, G5, cellular toxins, spermicide. What? Suicide assistant websites? Is this mofo canceling culture? Birth? Why? Play it cool and dig all jive. And then the next one is a little lighter. And some of you have heard this before. In the bee, breathe. In bee ginseng, black balloon boom, bebop eardrop dream, translucent wings, reverent effervescent feathers favor raven magic. Tether star shine, clothe in glitter red, yellow, green, purple, gold mine. Dance a spiral round root, tally ground, wire imbue, remember, light seed deed. Drum, heart, lung, tongue, stars. Rhythm sung long time gone. Revolution, evolution, you and I verse, plans, planet seat, rock steady beat, arms, legs, feet, wave, weave in heat. Moon mounts magnetic mystery. Bring back the honeybees, please, and swing low, my sweet chariot. Let us ride home. Heaven's sunflower has thrown us in this throne of hallelujah, parallel strings, orchestrating DNA, helix springs, springing up children, prophets, circulating circuitries, generating generations of yin-yang prophecy, radicals radiating Isheoluwa Kulebajo. The word nomo will never be destroyed in the bee ginseng, G-force spiraling, cannot gainsay nor resist the gravity of matter. And this one short piece, do I have time for a short piece? No, I don't know. Hello?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. I really wanted cream cheese that day, but I had to learn a lesson on sensory suppression. It took place in the late 70s. I walked into the store toward the back where my cream cheese was stacked. Opened the fridge door, picked up my cream cheese, but my hand put it back. I thought my senses had cracked. I picked up the cream cheese again, and again my hand put it back. Miseducated by the psycho-religious that impregnates us with, it's a sin to see this way. I picked up the cream cheese, bought it, brought it home, opened my cream cheese to find green mold covering my green cheese. Suddenly, I heard a voice say loudly, "You thought I was stupid, didn't you?" Damn, I thought, who are you? Was said long ago by Elder Mother Zenobia. Child, you got eyes all over your body that sees things you ain't even aware of. I'm a witness. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much, Tarita. What a joy to hear your work. So fun as always. Thank you. I'd like to invite back Sylvia up to the mic. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all the poets. This has been a really wonderful and healing night. I'm glad that I was able to make it. I have a couple of short ones, and I'm going to go ahead. Poetry healing me. I'm carried out of my own hurt, adrift in the words of poets, like alcohol to the owies, or hydrogen peroxide, or mercurochrome, or water. The pain that comes with the healing is at best a crapshoot with 5 sets of die, all rolling your way, more or less, here and now. I am adrift on the words of poets, and I'm hitting 1s and 6s with every piece. And that's our first piece. The second one is a triolet. Moving in shadow, I am my light. I trust in the process to guide me. Though the way fights back with all its might, moving in shadow, I am my light. This pen and the mic shining brightly, making love to the night. Moving in shadow, I am my light. I trust in the process to guide me. And that is that piece. I'm going to go with one more, and you may have heard this before. This is Blind Bullets. Bullets don't recognize race or creed, but manage to find the Black no matter who shoots them. Whether I am so sorry. Bullets don't recognize race or creed, but manage to find the Black no matter who shoots them. Whether ricochet or straight away, brown bodies hit the ground like shells expended. Bullets don't check your pants to see which way you hang. Even in a spray, it's more likely to be a man. But if that bullet should strike a woman, she's 4 times likely another brown body down. Bullets don't ask if you took your meds today, or if that exchange of words was really horseplay. Bullets don't let cooler heads prevail. Hot heads equal hot hands that let them spray. Bullets don't say a prayer that who they strike will live, that what is done in anger won't take all there is to give. Bullets don't apologize when they've taken this thing too far. With bullets, there are no takebacks, no rewinds, nor do-over to be found. With bullets, the answer is definitive, arguments ending in echoed sound. Bullets have done nothing to hurt anyone. It's the shooters that are my concern. Bullets don't care if you have a family or if that family had a plan. Bullets don't care if you're Black or white, if you're a woman with an ex or a man. Bullets don't care if you're going to prom or if your team will win the big game. Bullets don't ask what God you pray to, if you pray to one at all. Bullets don't seek a claim to fame. Bullets don't have names written on them. Bullets don't pick out the face they hate. Bullets are slaves to their masters. Bullets are victims of physics. They go where they are shot. In case you missed this, the argument against bullets is based on lies. Bullets are blind with shooters for eyes. And that is my piece. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Sylvia, for sharing all of those pieces. I'm so glad we were able to hear and experience your poetry. Thank you. And with that, I would like to thank all of our readers this evening. This has been such a full and fulfilling open mic. And thank you to you, Lynn, for being our feature this evening as well. As always, I leave these events feeling so uplifted and so happy to be in community with all of you. And I'm so glad we're back on track. We're going to be doing this monthly. All of the open mic series programs currently are still going to be virtual. Our next one will be on February 17th, and I'm excited to have Daryl Alejandro Holmes as our feature, and I'm going to drop the link for that event in the chat. So please do join us for that next edition. In between that, we have plenty of programming at MOAD, both literary events and beyond. And so I invite you to visit our website, which is moadsf.org, to attend more of our programming. Any and all ways of supporting and engaging with the museum are invited, whether that's through membership or supporting the museum financially or attending our programs. All ways of engagement are truly appreciated. And with that, I would like to thank all of you again for being in attendance and hope that you, if you are local, you are able to view our exhibitions. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, and our exhibitions that are on view will run through the end of February through February 27th. So please do come engage with the arts, engage with our programming. And as is being shared on the screen, if you are able to financially support the museum, we appreciate it. You're able to give a donation by texting 56512 and typing MOAD SF, or again, by visiting our website. So thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this evening. And I hope to see you at more of our programming and definitely at open mic next month. Thank you all.
Bye.